Hey traders, Nick Shaheen here looking at Lordstown. RIDE is the ticker, reporting earnings after hours. Today is 8/11. Last video I did was when they reported last time here. So I'm going to kind of repeat what I said before. One thing I said before is that don't be surprised if it goes below 6, and don't hate me for saying it because it's possible. Here we are, under 6. After hours, it is popping to just under 6, up 5%. So good initial reaction to the earnings. Back then, I didn't say anything bad about the company. I acknowledged the fact that it has a lot of fans on Wall Street. Actually, not on Wall Street, on Main Street. And it's a real company that has probably hundreds of employees and spending hundreds of millions of dollars. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Last earnings report, they had some disappointing news about production, half of what, blah, 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 whatever it was. People reacted negatively to it. But then even though I mentioned below 6, I also drew how the recovery breakout would happen. And I actually took a snapshot from the video. I just rewatched the video to remind myself what I said last time. And this was the snapshot of how how a stock would build a comeback rally. And look at the high I had just under 15, like drew with basically a marker back then, and which was, look at the high that actually happened, 1575. So I wasn't full of crap back then. I acknowledged the fact that it could come down to 6, and this was the scenario that would have brought it to 6 if they lose support, or it could actually, it made progress. I also acknowledge that, okay, step 1 is stop making new lows. They did, and build momentum. They did, but they did it too fast, and then they came to this and failed. I didn't pick this out of the blue. Okay, so, and unfortunately, whatever happened, headlines or whatever, early June, woo, everything went to crap. Okay, so there was talk. I don't know exactly what happened, but there was talk about alternative investment solutions, which means that they need money. And that's my concern from the fundamental basis. I like the looks of the truck. I like the EV concept that they're in. I like the venture they're in. It's the right time. You can fail if you run out of money. And I also know that Workhorse sold a lot of its stake in it, last headline I read. So they're looking for investors. I went to Yahoo, and it looks like they have had headlines of they're talking to investors. And I'm looking at this capex of 120 million. They have 360 million, and then I read down below here what they need. It exceeds what they're saying they have. So the 2021 objective, they're going to need expenditures between 375 and 400 million. So they will definitely need to raise capital. So that's my only fear, which usually if they issue shares, however they do it, most likely they're going to dilute the stock. When people know that they're desperate, they're probably not going to give them favorable terms. So I'm afraid to go in and add. If I'm long, I'm not adding. I'm happy about the news. I'm happy about the pop. If the pop brings me back to even, I should lighten up my load. Now that all that is just strategic, like thinking outside the box, big picture, not specific as to, oh, this truck is going to do this many sales. I'm just talking big picture. I'm not an expert at the stock, but I am pretty good with charts, as you've seen. So now we're going to go into with the stock conversation. So I'm going to go into maybe a 60-minute candle, maybe a 30-minute candle, just to show you what's going on. This is a descending channel, so the bears are in control. Not a bad statement, not an insult. It's just matter of fact. I'm looking at the chart. No one can argue with that. This pop after hours, that light blue line. Look how it's matching up to that last big ledge from yesterday, and matches up with being an important pivot line for a while, since the 3rd, while in quotes here, just about a week. Okay, so it is important to pay attention to what happened. And most importantly is that orange line. This orange line tells me that for this period of time, so just over a month, this is the busiest spot by far. Look at the volume. So all these volume ticks down here that you see, they're all represented somewhere around $6, which means they were holding on to, they were trying to hang on to 6 and then they lost it big time. So now going back into 6, it's going to present a problem. Not an absolute concrete wall above you or ceiling, but it is a problem. So 6.2 is a level problem, not so much as volume. So you got volume problem, you got level problem. So the bulls need all the help they can get from headlines. Can they get it? Absolutely. But if no headlines are coming out, I would sell the pop. This is a statement saying not to chase the pop. How about this? I would not chase the pop until I see what they do with 6 and what they do with 6.2. Now, if I cannot see a stock rally 20 cents without me, I have FOMO, which I don't. I can see a stock rally dollars without me, and I don't care. What I do care about is losing money for stupidity. Chasing it into 6, in my opinion, is ill-advised, but that's personal preference. Somebody who absolutely loves the stock and bought it at 6 and is adding now, I don't know, what have we learned today that we didn't know yesterday, other than the fact that, okay, they're still coming out with a truck. They will have X deliveries. They will come out on time-ish, but they're going to need money to do it. Where are they going to get the money? So there is caution from the fundamental basis. There is definitely caution from the chart basis. So trading-wise, if my brother comes to me and say, hey, I'm looking to invest in this company, it's popping 5%, should I chase it? I say, you know what, let's see what they do at 6 and 6.2, and if they break out from 6.2, you can put some money into it and let's see what happens. Okay, so this is at the low time frame basis. So if I zoom out to 2-hour candles, the descending trend is still there. And now I see a little bit more reasons to be less enthusiastic also at 7. Because if I look at 7, they had a big fight there as well. So they won back here. They had a big rally and a big rally to follow up. And they didn't come back to it until here. And then here, July 27th, they just completely lost it. They didn't put up a fight. There must have been something going on here. Bad day in the market, bad headline. But look at these eerily similar candles. They make progress and then they sell them down. They make progress and then they sell them down. They're making progress. You want to see that habit break. Why do I call it a habit? They're machines. The machines are trading it that way. So emotions aside, I don't hate this company. I don't love this company. I'm helping a few people that are trading it. Speaking of which, subscribe to this channel if you don't already. It's free so far. And put on the alert to be alerted when I release videos. Notification, I should say. I'm not taking on new people for the chat room because we have almost 300, 280-ish, and it's a good balance. If we have turnover, then I'll reopen it. But you can reach out to me if you want to get on the waiting list for that. Okay, having said that, enough said about Ride. Let me see, Hyliion, I'll visit it. So today fell on earnings, and I believe they had some good news there. So it's not about the actual news, it's about expectations. So you know my history with Hyliion. I'm still cautioning you that it still can go to 7 again or lower, but as long as they're holding 9, they can avert that. But if they lose 9, this leg lower consolidated, they should use it as a base to recover. If they don't and they fall below it, this leg here will be met with similar size leg below here with a lot of support here. So now we're talking Hyliion. I don't want to spook people and get people hating me. You know, I was long. As soon as it lost 18, I got out and I warned everybody saying, hey, some bad stuff is going on here, and took some heat for it. Workhorse, since we'll touch on it. So what is it doing after hours? I don't know. It too is in the seller's hand. Every pop is being sold. Until that behavior stops or changes, I don't try to get long or catch the falling knife. So catching a falling knife, I really need a reason to. Either I see a base, and so far I haven't. They tried to base here, they lost it. They tried to base here, they lost it. They're trying to base here. This has a better chance because of this cluster here, but it's still not a hard line in the sand. Let me go to a daily, maybe you can, ooh, what is that? Okay, so you see this little quadrant from which they, boom, exploded higher, whatever happened up there, and then they came back inside this box, exactly, this little cluster here, and then boom. And now they're coming back to it. Logic says that hard fought, it should provide some support. But God help them if they don't, because then we will be talking lower. But then again, you know, what if the market's correct? Even if this one shouldn't correct, it will take this one with it. Back to RIDE. Good news from the company, it looks like. My opinion, this bounce, which you can't see on the daily chart, it's so low, I wouldn't chase it until I see breaches of the lines I just told you. And in order to see those lines, you'd have to come down to a 15-minute candle. This is where they're at after hours. This is resistance. This is resistance. These here are also resistance. So until I clear 6.2, in fact 6.25, I'm uneasy about this pop after hours. Hopefully it has some good action tomorrow for the bulls. Nick signing out.